Yo, what's up guys, it's your boy Sami here. Today we are gonna see, what if Naruto was killed and learns about spirit power, part 1. Hope you'll enjoy this video. So before we start, please subscribe to our channel, and like this video. So let's get into the video. Kushina was in one of the training grounds of her secondary home Konoha, with her team of our girls training, when she said, "Alright girls, before we start the day, I want to tell you that in a few months you will get another sensei." "Why is that sensei?" asked one girl that had ruby red eyes. "Well, Kurenai, to simply put I'm pregnant," Kushina replied, was all she managed to say, before she was bombarded to the typical things like how long, and congratulation. When the four girls calmed down, one of the girls who had dark purple hair said, "Sensei, can I ask something?" "Sure, Anko, what is it?" Kushina said. "If your baby is a boy, can I marry him?" Anko asked. Before Kushina could answer, the girl that had red marking down her cheek said, "I was about to ask that. After all, if it is a boy, after all, he is going to be mine." "No way that would happen," Hana said, the last girl who had light purple hair. "Oh, and why would that be?" Yugao Hana said. "Well, it's obvious he's going to be mine," Yugao said with a matter-of-fact tone. Before long there was a fight with all four girls, and Kushina said in a sickly sweet voice, "Girls, stop now or else." And not even 10 seconds had passed, the girls had stopped their fight, and was in the Caesar style. Then asked, "Now why do you want to marry my child? If it is a boy?" After a brief explanation, the girls began to glare at each other, before Kushina said, "Now girls, none of that after all four of you can marry him." "Well, how, Sensei?" Kurenai asked. "Well, for starters, he would be the only known member of the Uzumaki clan, so he would came under the craw. Then there is the fact that the Uzumakis have a tricky bloodline," Kushina said. "What kind of bloodline?" Anko asked. "Sorry girls, but can't tell you until either you're pregnant or you are married to my son. If it's a boy," Kushina said. "That fine," said the girls. Then they went on with their day, and at the end of the day, before Kushina dismissed her team, she said, "Hey girls, want to make that marriage talk official?" Hana looks at her sensei, and said, "How?" "Oh, marriage contract," and the girls quickly agreed, so Kushina made the contract, and the girls signed it. Then they went home. Minus 15 years later, the child of Kushina named Naruto is in the woods waiting for one teacher to pass a supposedly secret test, wondering why he was so different, as he had a monkey's tail trait from DP, and had blue markings over his body. Yusukteam informed Yu Yu Hakusho when he heard rustling of the bushes, and one of his teachers came into view, and he said, "Iruka-sensei, what are you doing here?" Iruka looks at Naruto, and said, "I should be asking you that, and why did you steal the scroll of seals?" Naruto looked at Iruka with a confused look, and said, "What are you talking about, Iruka-sensei? Isn't this scroll meant to be part of the makeup exam to graduate?" Iruka looks at his student just as confused as Naruto, then said, "What are you talking about? What made you think that stealing the scroll was a backup exam?" "Well, Mizuki-sensei told me that if I steal this faux scroll and learn it from it, I can pass," Naruto explained. Iruka looks at Naruto, and saw Naruto genuinely thought what he did was to pass and become a shinobi of Konoha. With a sad look, he looks at Naruto, and was about to say something when someone said, "Well done, Naruto. I knew you could do it. Would be a shame to kill you, but then I would be lying." "Why would you have to kill me, Mizuki-sensei? Didn't I pass the makeup test?" Naruto asked. Mizuki started to laugh, which lasted for a few minutes. When he calmed down, he said, "Oh, poor Naruto, the truth is there is no makeup exam, and what you just done was treason, so that is one more thing to kill you, and you want to know what the other thing is? It is related to why you are so hated." Iruka, catching on what Mizuki was about to say, said, "Don't do it, you, and I both know that's forbidden." Mizuki either didn't hear Iruka or just flat out ignored him. Said, "You see, Naruto, 15 years ago when the nine-tailed fox attacked the fourth Hokage, knew he couldn't defeat it. He did the next best thing, he sealed it into a newborn baby, and the only one that was born on that day was you, so he made you the fox in human form, and because he couldn't kill you, he left it to his villagers to do, shocking Naruto. Then he a large shuriken at Naruto." Iruka sees this, runs to protect Naruto, but he wasn't fast enough, and the shuriken hit Naruto, killing him. When Iruka get to Naruto, he couldn't believe that the kid that he grew on him actually be dead, turned to face Mizuki, and said, "I will make you pay for this, Mizuki, even if I have to die to do it." Mizuki laughed, then said, "Oh, like you really would. We both know you hated the fox for killing your parents." Iruka didn't say anything, just went up to his now former friend, and the duo started to fight, which Iruka somehow managed to win. While Iruka and Mizuki was duking it out, Naruto was hovering above the tree lines watching them fight, and said, "Well, I guess someone finally done it, and killed me, seeing as I'm a ghost." All of a sudden, he heard a chirpy feminine voice say, "Bingo, bingo, we have a winner." Naruto, who was startled by this, started to look while saying, "What the who said that?" Over here the voice said to Naruto right, and he saw long blue hair pulled up into a ponytail, and purple eyes. Her physical appearance generally doesn't change, but at the end of the series her ponytail and bangs have grown a bit longer. She is usually clad in a light pink kimono with a white obi sash, sitting on a flying oar, then said, "I did." Naruto looks at the lady, and said, "Seeing as I am a ghost, that would mean you are Shinigami." "That's Current Boten is the name, and I am a pilot of the river Styx." Boten replied. "Well, at least I get to be guided to hell by a pretty girl like you, Boten," Naruto said. Boten, trying not to blush too much, said, "Well, thanks for the compliment, and you're wrong, you're not going to hell." "What do you mean I'm not going to hell? I thought that is where I belong," Naruto said. Boten gained a confused look by what it said, so she asked, "Why do you say that, Naruto?" And Naruto only response is just floating floats a little higher while looking at the village. It wasn't long before it dawned on Boten. Why Naruto thought what he did looks down. Then think so that's it. It's because he spent the past 15 years being called all those names that he is more broken than he lets those precious to him think. Then turns to Naruto and said, well Naruto, the reason why you're not going to hell is because someone important wants to see you. I wonder who wants to meet a worthless demon like me, Naruto thought before saying, well let's get this over with. That good to hear, now let's get started, Boten said then, as she flew away with Naruto grabbing onto the oar. When Boten and Naruto got to the spirit world, Naruto saw a river and said, so that's the river Styx. That's right, Boten said. Naruto looks at Boten and asks, hey Boten, who exactly is this person that want to meet me? His name is King Enma, Boten said. Shocked by what he had heard, Naruto said, wait, did you say king? So is he royalty? That right, so you better behave and show the respect that he deserves, cause if you don't, he might send you to oblivion, Boten said. Well see, and why does he want to meet me personally? Naruto said. To tell you the truth, I haven't the foggiest why he wants to meet you, Boten replied, then said, and if you look up ahead, you can see our destination, the gateway of decision. When the duo of the gateway, Naruto said, wow, it's bigger than the monument. Then Boten shouted, Boten here, and I have a new arrival. Then the doors opened up. Then she said to Naruto, now if you would like to follow me, I will take you to see King Enma. Then she walks into the corridor. Then they come to another set of doors, and Boten went up to an intercom and said, it's Boten again, can you let him know that I have Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze? We're opening the gate, came a male voice that was on the other end of the intercom. As the gates was opening, Naruto said, wait, did you say Namikaze? Well that's the name I get when I got told to come pick you up, didn't you know? Boten said, as she began to walk on with Naruto following close behind. No, I didn't, hell, until I was 5 I didn't even know my name was Naruto. I thought it was demon or something like that, Naruto said. Sorry to hear about that, Boten said, just wondering what kind of life Naruto been through. Don't worry about it, Boten, Naruto said, as he looked around at all the ogres running around. As both Boten and Naruto walked into an office cubicle that was at the other end of the room, Boten said, sir, I have brought you the one that you asked for. Then she bowed. Naruto started to look around the booth, but didn't see anyone. Then he heard look down, and when he did, he saw a toddler with a red obi sash tied at the waist of a pink trimmed blue robe, and the toddler, there we go. Are you kidding? This pipsqueak is in charge, Naruto thought, as he, Enma, and Boten walked over to the desk. Well, the toddler got into his chair. Boten said, this is Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze, and he is honored to meet you. When they saw that Naruto didn't show any sign, Boten hit his chest and said, what is wrong with you? Are you trying to make me look stupid? Show him that you honored. Naruto glances at Boten, then said, you probably don't need me for that, Boten. Then he starts to laugh and said, why would the spirit world be run but a toddler? And here I was getting a little scared of the mighty King Enma, being a little ticked off by what Naruto just said. Actually, I be the mighty Koma, King Enma's son, and even though I appear to be a toddler, I have been around 50 times longer than you have, so I would watch my tone if I was you. So it takes hundreds of years to move past the diapers, Naruto said before started to laugh again. Boten, having enough of Naruto, hit his head and shouted, can you even go 5 minutes without taking the piss out of someone? Before Naruto could say anything, Koma said, I am proud to say, in addition to knowing some of the greatest secrets of the universe, I am actually potty trained before thinking. So this is what father meant when he told me about the Uzumakis. Then he jumped onto his desk, then said, so now that you have taken the piss out of me, like I was warned about Uzumakis, how about he get onto the business? He put a hand into his pocket and pulls out a golden egg. How can I trust you? I don't know you, and you know that saying, fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice, shame on me. So how do I know this golden egg isn't a trap? Naruto said. Boten hits Naruto on the head and said, how dare you accuse him on doing something like that? If he says it does the trick, then it does the trick. That's enough, Koma said. What? But sir, Boten said. Enough, Boten, Koma said, then turns to Naruto and says, I understand, Naruto, that you don't trust easily, and that's because of how your own village had treated you, pretending to care, then ultimately betrayed you, and that is why I pulled some strings in hopes I can gain that trust. Then there was a knock on the door, and Koma said, come in. When the door opened, revealing blue ogre with long balding blonde hair and a woman with red hair. Excuse me, Koma, sir, I have brought the woman you requested. Oh good, just in time, ogre, Koma said, then turns to Naruto and said, now Naruto, allow me to introduce you to your mother, Kushina Uzumaki. Now ogre Boten, I want you two outside to give the mother and son time together. Okay sir, but what are you doing while we are outside stopping everyone coming in? Boten said. I have business to do in the living world, Koma said. And what business is that, sir? Boten asked. I need to speak to the Hokage, Koma said, as he walked out the room with the ogre and Boten behind him. Meanwhile, inside the booth, Kushina quickly gave Naruto the biggest hug she had ever done, not realizing that Naruto had gone stiff, then said, my look how big you've gotten. Naruto looks over to his mother and said, so you are really my mother? But it came out more of a statement than Naruto had meant. Kushina, catching that, Naruto said, of course I am. Hasn't Tsunade told you anything? Naruto tilts his head in a confused manner and said, who is Tsunade? Well, she was meant to look after you if something was to happen to me. And Minato, Kushina said. Then she asked a question that she didn't want to ask. So how was your life in Konoha? Then Naruto told her all about his life in Konoha and the few friends he has, and upon hearing that her former students had kept to know know their word, and did what they could. She smiled. Then Kushina chuckled a little before saying, well, if only the stupid villagers knew how right they are. What do you mean, Ka-chan? Naruto asked. Well, it's about the unique bloodline that we have, Kushina said. Cool, what kind of bloodline is it? And does it have to do with this tale? And marking Naruto asked. Yes, it does. You see, Naruto, we Uzumakas have 3 types of energies, including chakra. 1 is demonic, as we are a descendant of one of the 3 demon kings called Raisin, which is evident by the markings over your body, and spirit from our other ancestor called Goku, an alien race called, which is also evident by your tail. Your genes for both must be strong, Kushina said. So what do you think I should do? Naruto asked, unsure of what to do. You should trust him, Naruto. After all, he would never do anything agents and Uzumaki, Kushina said. Why is that? Naruto asked. Well, there has been agreement between the ruler of the spirit that has been around for thousands of years, Kushina said. What is this agreement? Naruto asked. Well, you see, Naruto, at one point the ruler of spirit world wanted us with demon blood wiped out, but one of our ancestor made a deal: if you let us life, we would help protect the human world. And since then the head of our clan became a spirit detective, and I was the last spirit detective, as I was the head of the clan before, and after coming to Konoha, Kushina explained. Sweet, Naruto said. Then they both began to have small talk, but it was mostly Naruto hearing what really happened on the day he was born, then was told stories about the adventures his mother had done. Meanwhile, in the human world, Hiruzen is in his office doing paper, and was majorly sad, as the boy he saw as a grandson was dead, when suddenly he felt someone was into room. So he looked up, and saw Koma standing at the door, then said, greeting, I'm sorry, but I am a little busy at the moment, so please come back some other time. Greeting, Hiruzen, I am Koma, heir to the spirit world, and I am here to ask you to do a few things about the one named Naruto Uzumaki. Koma said. I am sorry, but the Naruto is dead. He died tonight, Hiruzen said. As I have said, I am the heir to spirit world, and Naruto is more important than you realize, and that is because of the bloodline that the Uzumakis have, so I am going to revive him, but that will be in 1 week when both body and spirit are in line, Koma said. Okay, so what would that be? Koma don't know, asked the aged. The first is to get in contact with the person that was meant to look after Naruto, but was lied to. The second thing is keep Naruto's body safe, and the last thing is when the time comes, get either one of these people to kiss Naruto on the lips, Anko, Hana, Kurenai or Yuga, Koma said. Can do. Just 2 questions. The first is, who was person that was meant to look after Naruto, and how would the girls know when the right time is? Hiruzen asked. Tsunade Senju, and they would know when they see it. Another thing, if Naruto wakes up, he will have an interesting companion, and will gain the title that he was meant to gain, and train for being the heir of the Uzumaki clan. And with that, I must be going. There are other things I need to take care of, Koma said. That disappears. The just sighed, then said, even in death you still cause me a headache, Nico. An Anbu wearing a cat mask appeared, Ning, and she said, yes sir. Take Naruto's body, and take him to a secret location that only you and your friends know of, then inform your friends what happened, said the aged cage. I replied the Anbu. Then she disappeared. Then Hiruzen made a note for Tsunade to come back, and do what only an Uzumaki can do too. Back in the spirit world, Koma just entered his office, and saw Boten and George listening to Naruto, as he painted the monument in broad daylight, and wearing a bright orange jumpsuit. Laughing, then Koma said, so have you made your decision, Naruto? I have, and I will do it, and I know that you give the detectives an assistant, Naruto said. That right, what are you getting at? Koma said. I want Boten as my assistant, Naruto said. What? But there are more qualified spirits for that. I'm just a courier, Boten said. Alright, she can be your assistant, Naruto, Koma said. Then turned to Boten, and said, tomorrow I will get you your instructor, so you have some knowledge on what to do. Boten shocked said, but sir. Not buts, Boten. Naruto asked for you, as he seems to like you, and trusts you. I can't just give Hive someone else that he doesn't trust, and might take months to do, Koma said. I see your point, sir, Boten said, a little too happy, as Koma was giving Naruto the golden, and says, now listen to me very carefully, Naruto. The sag would normal unleash one's own spirit beast, and I know that Kushina told you what happened 15 years ago, and I know you would want the fox to her freedom, but unfortunately thanks to my father both yours and Rika's are connected by the soul, so when you go back into your body, Rika will go back into the seal, so she is now your spirit beast instead of your normal one. That great, thinks I was going to ask you if you can do something about it, Naruto said. That great, now let's go and start the preparation, Koma said. It has been 3 days since Naruto was killed, and learn more about who and what he is, and the responsibility that come with them, and Naruto is getting some special training from his more famous ancestors like Goku and Yusuke, while waiting for his body and spirit to realign, so he can be resurrected. Meanwhile, back in the living world at one of the main gates in Konoha, the two that was in on guard was chatting when they saw 2 figures coming toward them, and, as they come closer, the guards recognized them as Tsunade Senju and her apprentice Shizune. After signing in, Tsunade and Shizune headed to the Hokage Tower to see why they had been summoned back after 15 years. When the duo get to the tower, they headed up to the office and speak with Hiruzen, not bothering with the reception, then marches into the office of the and said, alright sensei, what's this all about? Why have you summoned me back back here after 15 years. Hiruzen took a long drag of his pipe, knowing what the aftermath will come after this conversation, then said, I call you back here Tsunade, because Naruto will be needing you now more than ever. Upon hearing her godson's name, Tsunade stomps up to the desk, and slams his hands into cracking it, then said, now don't you dare mention Naruto, as you already told me he died when Minato sealed the fox inside him. Now knowing what Koma meant, Hiruzen said, and he told me that you didn't want to take care of the demon. After hearing this, Tsunade was almost on her ass laughing, getting a confused look from the old man the hidden, and Shizune whom said, what's so funny Tsunade-sama? After calming down a little, Tsunade said with a look that told them this was more important than anything I'll tell you, but you need to send all the out of here, as it is a secret only known to the Uzumaki clan, and those married into the clan, but only after marriage. Hiruzen, knowing that the Uzumakas had a lot of hidden secrets which was what made them so deadly, and might have to do with the tail, and marking on Naruto signaled it to leave. And after the was gone, Tsunade did a quick eye search to make sure that no one was still there. Well, she knows she can trust her sensei. She was so sure about anyone else once Tsunade could only sense her sensei. An apprentice in the room said, alright, before I answer why I was laughing, she turns to her sensei, and said, Sensei, can you tell me if Naruto has a tailor markings on him? Yes, he has both. Hiruzen replied. When Tsunade heard this, she grumbled a little, and said, lucky bastard. Then she said, now, as you know sensei, that the Uzumaki clan was feared cause nobody could learn some of that had. The aged man nodded, and said, yes, I even heard then even the Uchiha clan couldn't copy that. Well, to simple put, a lot of our techniques isn't chakra, Tsunade said, shocking both other people in the room. If it's not chakra, then what is it? Hiruzen asked. Well, normal people have one power, which is chakra. The Uzumaki has two other powers, and they are spirit energy or kite, Tsunade said. Is that really possibly? Hiruzen asked. It is. After all, the Uzumaki clan has been around since before the Sage of Six Paths, Tsunade replied. So, what does this have to do with you laughing your ass off? Tsunade saying, and the tail, and marking that Naruto has, Shizune asked. Everything, as because we Uzumaki are dependents from two other beings. One is an alien race called Sane, which is where the tail is from, and a demon called Raisin, which the markings comes from, Tsunade explained. After Tsunade explained the secret that was meant to be only Beckman in her clan, both other people understood why she laughed so hard, and Shizune said, so that's why you laugh like you did when you heard what Lord Jiraiya said. As you have a demon ancestor too, by default you are a demon, as well as an alien. That's right, Shizune, and that is why we Uzumakas have long lifespans, one from the demon, and one from the Saiyans, and latter is where my monster strength come from, Tsunade said. Care to explain that? Tsunade, I always thought it was because it was some kind of seal. Hiruzen asked said. Well, you see, the Saiyans are warrior alien race who can always get stronger inside and outside of battle, Tsunade explained, then said, so where is Naruto? The HKage began to sweat a little, as A said, well, the thing Tsunade, 3 days ago he really did die. Tsunade looks at the cage with a glare, and said, what do you mean? And you better tell me the truth. 3 days ago was the graduation exam, but failed due to overloading the basic shadow clone, and none of the teachers didn't want Naruto due to his status as a Jinchuriki, and wanted him to fail. But Mizuki, the teacher's assistant, told Naruto that there was a backup test to pass, and it was to steal the forbidden scroll, which he did. Mizuki told Naruto what he was, but Iruka defended Naruto that he was not the fix. Then Mizuki throw a giant shuriken, and throw it at Iruka, but Naruto to the attack dying in the progress. Hiruzen explained. So why call me back, Sensei? Tsunade asked. Well, as I was receiving the report when a toddler named Konma said that in a week he will revive. Naruto didn't explain why. Hiruzen said. After thinking about it, Tsunade mumbled, maybe it might have something to do with the pact. Hiruzen heard the mumbling, but couldn't hear it, but Shizune did, and asked, what pact is that, Tsunade-sama? Well, this pact was made before the shinobi era, and the current king of the spirit world, and it is basically saying that fight fire with fire, Tsunade said. Care to elaborate on that, Tsunade? Hiruzen said. Well, in addition to the living world, there is the spirit world where the dead goes to get judged for their time alive, and the demon world, and I don't mean that, as they are just manifestations of chakra, I mean the type that will eat and rape, and more often than not a demon will come over to our world and cause some mayhem, basically doing what demons do, and to maintain the balance, and to keep their lives. The Uzumakas said that if they are kept alive, then they will help them when needed, and that the pact, Tsunade said. Thinking about what was just said, the HKage said, I see, and Naruto being the last known male even to the spirit world, they need him alive more, as he can bring your clan back to its former glory. Current sensei, and the other thing I can think of is because it wasn't his time to die, and if that's the case it still comes back to the pact, as they don't normally resurrect someone, Tsunade said. Then went on to say, so where's Naruto body? I would like to inspect it before he is revived. I don't know where his body adheres, and said, and when he saw the look his former student had, he said, and before you get mad, and start shouting, Tsunade after Konma left, I told one of the boy's fiancés who is one of my personal to take the body somewhere, and not to tell anyone except for the others, so if the villagers find out the location, then they might try something to get rid of the body. And I know Naruto's fiancés would kill anyone that tried anything like. Tsunade calmed down, heeding the explanation, said, so you thought that it would be best to have as few people to know as possible, and those people are the one that wouldn't let the location slip by accident. Right, so if you want to know the location location you are going to have to find Anko Mitarashi, Hana and Yuzuka, Kurenai Iki or Yugao Yuzuki, as they are Naruto's fiancés via marriage contract between them, and Kushina hears and said, okay, so Naruto's fiancés are Kushina's former students, and what about this year's team's? Tsunade asked. I will do the Genin team 2 days after Naruto hears and replied. Alright, then I would like to request to be Naruto's sensei, Tsunade said. Hiruzen looks at his student, and asks, may I ask why you want to be Naruto's sensei? Even though I am sure that Naruto is getting training while in the spirit world, but it will take more than a week to learn all of the Uzumaki clan's secrets, and Naruto doesn't have the privilege of using the shadow clone while dead, so he will be doing it old school, and by that I mean before chakra, Tsunade said. When Hiruzen heard the explanation he almost hit his head, as he didn't think of that, then said, alright, though I would like to assign Naruto to a team. Tsunade looks at her sensei with narrowed eyes, and said, and why is that? The Kage gulped at the look he was getting from Tsunade, and said, well, without Naruto, there will be 2 remaining, and I think it would help him make at least 2 friends his own age, and I would like you to take over the hospital. Thinking it over, Tsunade said, alright, but I would like to say 2 things first. Okay, Hiruzen said. The first is I am Naruto's primary sensei, so unless his missions are team building exercise, I will train him no matter what his other sensei says, Tsunade said. I think that is understandable, and what is the other thing? Tsunade Hiruzen said. Shizune will be my stand-in at the hospital while I am training Naruto, as she almost knows everything I do so, and isn't far from being the successor of the head of the hospital, and of my summons, and will be fair if anyone pisses her off the night, Tsunade said, shocking her apprentice. Shizune looks at her master, and said, Tsunade-sama, do you really think that I am ready? Tsunade looks at her apprentice, and said, of course I do when the time comes, then turned back to her sensei. Thinking it over, Hiruzen didn't see a problem about it, and said okay, but when his team has a mission outside the village, he has to go with them. Tsunade saw that condition coming, said okay, I don't see a problem with it. Then they set their eyes, and left so Shizune could settle in her new job then, and go over the practices, and update what needs to be updated, and after that they will try, and find Naruto's fiancés, and persuade them to let Tsunade to check the body. The next day, it's the day after Tsunade, and Shizune returned, and right now Tsunade is by herself, as Shizune was at the hospital in the market section asking about Hana, Anko, Kurenai or Yugao, when she heard, come on Kurenai, how can you expect to please Naruto, if you can't keep up with us while looking for better cloths for him to wear? And so she looks over, and see Kushina's former student, so heads over to them. What's the rush, Anko? We still have a few more days before we can hug him in between our breasts again, Kurenai said back. I know that, Night-chan, it's just I want things to be perfect, so that when he is revived that he knows that he can trust us, and that we love him, Anko said. Anko has a point, Kurenai, even you have to admit that he seems to be us at arm's length, like he expects us to betray him, Hana said with a downcast tone. Yeah, I did notice, but just hoped it was my imagination. So yesterday I went over to Naruto's apartment, and saw that he hasn't touched the food we brought him, he just placed it in his cupboards, Kurenai replied. Before any of Naruto's fiancés could say anything, Tsunade decided to make her presence known by saying, hello ladies, can you help me making all 4 females jump? Hi Tsunade, what can we do for you, Yugao said, as the 4 Kunoichi knows who Tsunade is. Well, first you can take me to Naruto's body so I can make sure it's in great condition for when he is revived. Then when that's done, the 5 of us are going to sit down, and you are going to tell me about Naruto's life. I have slight picture thanks to sensei, and the reports that are in the hospital, Tsunade said. Enko looks at Tsunade, and said, and who are you to Naruto? Tsunade sent you. But the deep sight, Tsunade said, I was supposed to be Naruto's godmother, but I was lied to by someone I thought I could trust, and I will be his main sensei 2 days after he is revived, and his team sensei can do squat unless it's mission outside the village or team building exercises, and I am hoping that his might start to help cover for the 15 years I wasn't around. Looking at the slug for a couple of minutes, Enko said, mind if we have a little chat, Tsunade? No, why? Enko asked for it. Tsunade said, okay, I will leave you for it to do what you was doing for Naruto, and you can have your little talk, and once you're done come find me at the hospital tonight, as I will be helping it out every now and then, so until tonight. Then Tsunade walked of leaving the 4 girls to talk. As Hana, Kurenai, Enko, and Yugao was getting new clothing for Naruto for when he is revived, they were talking about what Tsunade requested, and in the end, they reluctantly agreed to let her look over Naruto, and be there for him. It was evening when the girls got to the hospital, and is waiting to see the slug to let her know of their decision when Shizune came over, and said, are you for the Kunoichi that Tsunade-sama is expecting? Hana stood up, and said, we are so mind taking us to see Tsunade. Because, as I said, Tsunade-sama was expecting you, and even told me to keep an eye out for you, and let her know when you arrive, then she will be with you, as soon as she able to, so would you like to follow me, and I will take you to see her, Shizune said. Then leads the group of 4 to the director's office. When Shizune and Naruto's fiancés get to the director's office, Shizune knocks, then hears, come on in. Shizune opens the door, then walks in while saying, I have the people you told me to keep an eye open for Tsunade-sama, and the 4 Kunoichi followed behind. Upon see the 4 people that she was expecting, Tsunade asked, so if you're here, then I take it you have made your decision. Kurenai stepped forward, and said, we have, and we think it would be best if you are a part of his life. Looking at them carefully, Tsunade said, and why would you do that when I can see that none of you want this? Because we don't, But there are several reasons why we are reluctantly agreed to do this, Hana stated. Understandable, I am not a part of his life for 15 years, and I show up out of the blue, and say the reason I wasn't a part of his life is because I thought he was dead a few days after he died. I would be too if I was in your shoes, Tsunade said in understanding, then went on to say, so what are the reason? Well, the first is we know your grandmother was an Uzumaki, so that makes you a part of the Uzumaki clan, and that makes you something Naruto has always wanted, Yuga said. And what would that be if you don't mind my asking, Tsunade asked. Family. For as long as all four of us has known Naruto, every wishing opportunity he had, he would always wish to have someone to call family. But what about you four? After all, you're engaged to him, Shizune said. You're right, but he doesn't know that he's engaged to us, nor he is a candidate for the Kra, as we felt it would make him feel like he is obligated to love us, and we want him to love us for right reasons, and not out of obligations, and because of that we have been there for him whenever he needed us, Kurenai explained. That's understandable, so what's the next reason? As you said several, Tsunade asked. The next one relates to the first one, as we have stated you're his family, and we are aware of the tricky bloodline that you Uzumaki have, so he is going to need you around to teach him any and all techniques that any Uzumakis need to know, and, as we are not a part of the clan, we have no idea what to do, Anko said. Okay, that's a pretty good reason there, so any more reasons why before you take me to see the body, Tsunade said, finishing her work. Well, there's one more reason, but that one is more directed more to us than you, as we don't want to upset Naruto, Yuga said. What do you mean, Shizune said. As we have said since Naruto knew where and how to make them all, he wished for someone to call family, and if he finds out that we stopped him from meeting a member of his family when he or she has a good reason, and not give them a chance, we know he will be mad at us, and he's had a bad life, as it is, so doesn't he deserve some good, Hana explained. After 5 minutes, Tsunade, Shizune, and Naruto's 4 fiancés left the hospital, and the latter 4 was leading Tsunade and Shizune to where they had left Naruto's body, all the while making sure nobody was following them. After 15 minutes walking, the group of 5 made it to the little hideaway that kept Naruto safe. Then Yuga said, Tsunade, Naruto is this way, then leads her to where Naruto was. Then Tsunade begins to examine the spiritless body. After an hour and a half, Tsunade came out, and Anko asked, so how is he? Tsunade then said, gotta love having a demonic body, as he is in great health, though his muscle mass isn't where it should be. The 4 girls look at Tsunade with an angry look, then Hana gets up in her face, and said, how dare you say that he is not the 9-tailed fox? Knowing that Hana and the other 3 girls doesn't know about the Uzumaki bloodline, Tsunade said, I know he's not the, and I said demonic body, as it relates to the Uzumaki bloodline, as we have a powerful demonic ancestor. And that's all you're getting until you become Uzumaki's, Tsunade said, then asked, hey, mind if I look at your marriage contract? Just want to make sure there isn't anything you missed. Sure, Kurenai said, as she gets up and looks for the contract. Then after 10 minutes she come back with the contract and hands it to Tsunade and said, here you go, Tsunade, here is the contract. After the blonde reads the contract, she said, well girls, I guess congratulations are in order, as you are meant to get married the day after Naruto become a genin. For a few moments it was so quiet that you hear a pin drop followed by what by the 4 girls. Then they grabbed the contract, the read. Then they all fainted, while Tsunade planning on taking the girl wedding shopping tomorrow. It has been 2 days since Tsunade came back to the village and had gotten to know Naruto's fiancé and got Naruto's body to how it should be, and right now she was sitting at a table at the location that the girls had hidden him to make sure nothing goes wrong, or some idiot accidentally find the location, and was about to go to bed when there was a knock on the door. Tsunade looks over to the door and said to herself, that's weird, nobody should be knocking, as there are only 4 other people that knows about this location, and they don't knock. Then there was another knock, so she gets up and goes over to the, but is ready for a fight just in case. When Tsunade opens the door and looks around and sees nobody there, she begins to close the door when she heard, hello Tsunade, minded I come in, causing Tsunade to open the door and look around again, then heard, down here. When the slug princess looked down and saw Koma and said, so your Koma, heir to the spirit world, sensei told me you will be coming today to revive Naruto. Indeed, I am Koma. Tsunade send you, so mind if I come inside and get to business in order to revive Naruto, Koma said. Right, please come in, Tsunade said, as she steps aside to let Koma in, then said, this way to Naruto's room, then leads Koma to the room that Naruto is in. While she leads Koma to the room, she asked, so Koma, when will Naruto be revived? If all goes well tomorrow at some point, Koma said. What's that supposed to mean? Tsunade said. You see, Tsunade, the body and soul have different wavelengths, and in order to revive someone the way I'm doing they need to align, and tomorrow is when they will be perfectly aligned, Koma said. Is it really that simple? Tsunade said. Yes, I know it is that simple to prepare, but to actually revive the person is a bit more complicated, as it requires someone from the living world who knows him even a little bit to donate some of their life energy, Koma said. Like what, some kind of blood sacrifice? Tsunade asked. You have to be kidding, I'm not evil. They have to it to him though, kiss, Koma said. So, like mouth-to-mouth resuscitation? Tsunade asked. Yes, exactly like that, Koma said. And what would happen if Hana, Yugao, Enko or Kurenai don't kiss him before midnight tomorrow? Tsunade asked. If that were to happen, then he would have to wait a while before his wavelength realign, Koma said. So how long would it take for that to happen? Tsunade asked. Give or take about 50 years, Koma replied. I see. Well, I'm going to let sensei know, and to make sure at least one of Naruto's fiancés stay here, Tsunade said. Well, if we have to, we will have to use a Michiraku, as she knows Naruto, as well as his fiancés, as he goes to Ichiraku Ramen, Koma said. Sounds like a plan. After all, I know that someone will catch wind of it, and will send the 4 girls busy for the date, Tsunade said, then left to inform her sensei. When Tsunade got to the office, she saw Hiruzen locking up, and when he saw her, he said, hello Tsunade, how are you doing? Well, I came to tell you something about Naruto, Tsunade said. What his former student just said caught his attention. Then he said, how about we walk to my home, and you can tell me. Then the duo started to walk to the Saratobi estate. Well, it's like this, sensei, Tsunade said, then begins to tell Hiruzen what Koma told her. Once Tsunade had Hiruzen said, I see. So if we want Naruto revived tomorrow, then he must get a kiss from Anko, Kurenai, Yuga or Hana. Yes, and there is one other, but I think I will keep that one to myself, Tsunade said. Hiruzen looked at Tsunade and said, mind if I ask why? Well, sensei, as you know, this village hate Naruto because of the Kyuubi, and if anyone finds out that Naruto was dead and is about to be revived and also needed a kiss from someone who knows him to do it, what do you think they will do? Tsunade said. Hiruzen already knows the answer, said they will keep the people busy all day to make sure he doesn't revive, and if they don't know who the last girl is, then they can't do anything to her. Yes, and I don't think they will be around the next time they realign, Tsunade said. True, and if it come to it, when will you get the girl tomorrow? Hiruzen asked. I was thinking when the sun sets tomorrow, Tsunade said. Okay, then once that's done, send her to me in the morning, so I can also thank her, Hiruzen said. Well, Tsunade and Hiruzen was chatting. They didn't notice that not far behind them was a bloke that hated Naruto, and said to himself, so the demon is dead, and tomorrow he will be revived. Well, can't let that happen now. Can we? Then heads to chat with a friend that is on the council, and tell him what is happening. It was close to midnight, and Koma said, so Tsunade, you understand what you have to do after I open the gateway, so the transfer can be made? Yes, I have to wait until noon when Naruto's body is glowing gold, then get either Anko, Hana, Kurenai, Yuga or Aim to give him a kiss on the lips. Correct, Koma said, then pulls out a pocket watch to look at the time. Then when it's midnight, he said, now is the time, then places his hands over Naruto's body, and some unseen energy was making Naruto's body glow. Once it was done, he turned to Tsunade and said, before I go, you need to know that I will be sending Naruto here, along with his assistant. Thought Boten will be visible. I take it Boten is Naruto's assistant, Tsunade asked. Yes, though please bear with her, as she hasn't had the proper training like the other assistants, but Naruto requested her even after I told him that there are others that he could trust, Koma said. I can properly guess why he requested her, Tsunade said. And you might be right, as she was sweet and kind to him, and he could sense that she was genuine as well, Koma said, then left. It is early the next morning, and in a bar, there was a little meeting going on, and the one that called it, which was the villager who overheard the and his former student asked, is that everyone? I think so, spoke another one, then went on to say, so mind telling us why you called this meeting? The first villager said, I know why we haven't seen the little demon around the village for that last week, then told them what he had heard last night. Once he was done, another villager, so what do we do? Don't worry, after what I heard last night, I went to my friend that is on the council, and he knows one person that is in the Anbu who hates the demon, so he contacted the Anbu. Go get us the addresses of the 4 girls that can revive the, so all we have to do is keep them occupied for the day, said the first villager. Then a new voice asked, and how can we that? Kidnap them, drug them, do whatever, I don't care how you do it, just make sure they are busy for the day, the lead villager said. Then there was a knock, and the block opened it up slightly, and saw a ninja wearing carnival mask. Said, yes, who is it? Someone with the information you need to rid this village of the demon, said the masked ninja, then holds up a sealed folder, then hands it to him, then walk away. The villager opens the folder, and reads the addresses. Then someone said, hey, what about the first person? What do we do about her? We do nothing, as we have no idea who she is, and if she does exist, said the leader. Then they went to get the girls with only one objective in mind, to stop the resurrection of Naruto. As the day rolled by, Tsunade nor Hiruzen and seen any of Naruto's fiancés, and back-eyed the house. It was around noon is when Naruto's body was glowing gold, and there was a knock on the door. Tsunade goes to check who it is, and sees Boten, and asks, you must be Boten? Indeed, I am Boten, said the went on to say, and I bring you bad news, we are going to have to use aim. This news shocked Tsunade, then said, so someone overheard us last night? Yes, when I was sent here, Koma told me to check on them, but all the places apart from Ichiraku Ramen was a mess, and the occupants weren't anywhere to be found, Boten explained. I see, well, it was a good thing I didn't tell sensei who the 5th girl was, Tsunade said. Then asked, I take it Naruto was showing you where his fiancés live? Yes, he did, even though he was a little upset that they didn't tell him they are engaged to him, but it made him happy that it was their idea, Boten said. Tsunade looks at the blue-haired girl, and sees that she wants to say something else, and said, what is it that you want to say, but can't or won't? Not surprised you noticed, but yes, something. When Kushina told Naruto about the contract, he believes that the main reason why the girls wanted the contract was to get closer to Kushina, and are just just honoring it in her memory, even though Kushina has told him on more than one occasion that isn't the case. Boten said. Tsunade sighs, and said, well, I am not surprised that Naruto thinks that after all, with how his life has been, where someone comes up to you, and be nice to you, then betray you after so many times, you will think that if someone is being nice to you, they might have some ulterior motive. Thinking about what Tsunade just said, Boten said, I suppose you're right. As then rest of the day passes, Tsunade noticed the sun was beginning to set. Then she turned to Boten, and said, I know you might not know the way, so you can say no, but can you go and get aim? Boten looks up to Tsunade, and said, not to sound rude, but why can't you go and get her? Because of what you said earlier, that Naruto's fiancés have been kidnapped. So like I said, that means that someone overheard what I said to Sensei last night. So there might be a few people on lookout for me. So if I go and get a someone one, the day that someone that a lot of people hate is to be revived, what would that tell you? Tsunade said. That the person that you just got would be the mysterious girl that could revive the person, Boten said. As she realized why Tsunade asked her to get the girl, then said, and because nobody knows me, so they wouldn't know about my connection to Naruto, then they wouldn't know that Aim is the girl, and it would look like two girls going out to go somewhere. Right, so do you know the way or not? Tsunade asked. Yes, I know the way, Boten said, then left the house to get Aim. It wasn't long before Boten got to the ramen stand store, and it was closing up when she heard Aim's father say, no need to worry, love, I am sure he is fine. Aim said, but father, Naruto hasn't come round in a week. The longest time before now was 3 days by. We knew he was out of the village hiding, as it was his birthday, but this isn't that time of the year. I know, sweetie, but what would happen when Naruto finally becomes a shinobi? You are aware that they can spend months and years on missions, Tsuchi said. I know that, Dad, but Naruto would at least tell us that he would be on a mission, Aim said, and she turned around and saw Boten coming, and said, sorry miss, but we are closing now. Don't worry, I am not here to eat, I am here for you, Aim, Boten said. Aim backs up and said, who are you, and how do you know me? My name is Boten, and let's just say we have a mutual friend, a blonde prankster, Boten said. Knowing who Boten was talking about, Aim said, do you know where he is? I do, and that is why I am here, as he needs you right now, Boten said. Before Aim could say anything, Tsuchi said, go Aim, I know you want to go, and if what she just said, then you can help. And before you say anything about helping me, shut up, shop need. I remind you that I did it long before you were born. Aim hugged her father, and said, thank you, Dad, then left with Boten. After a little while said, so Boten, where is Naruto? Well, there's no other way to say it, but for the past week he has been dead, Boten said. The news that Boten just gave her wasn't what she was expecting, and said, what? But how can I help him if he's dead? Well, can't really go into detailed, but let's just say that because of the Uzumaki clan, Naruto gets some privileges. But the bottom line is Naruto is getting revived. But to finish the process, we need someone who knows Naruto from the living world, to literally give him the kiss of life, Boten said. After a few seconds, Aim realized, wait, Boten, and then gained a blush, and said, wait, you want me to give Naruto a kiss on the lips? Well, yes, if it helps. Think of it like mouth-to-mouth resuscitation, Boten said. Then saw the look that was on the girl, and said, or do you want to give him a proper kiss? And Aim gained deeper blush, and the blush was gone. The two young women fell into a comfortable chat. When the duo got the location that housed Naruto's body for the last week, Boten opened the door, said a quick hi to Tsunade, and lead Aim to the room that Naruto was in. Then Aim nervously went to kiss Naruto, and she was just about to do it when there was a noise outside, and Tsunade came in, and said, we have trouble, someone must have been a lookout at the ramen stand, so quickly kiss him. Then heads outside to protect her godson. Inside the bedroom, Aim took a deep breath to calm down, and looked at Naruto, then slowly lowered her head to kiss him. The moment her lips touched him, the golden aura that his dead body was emitting was gone. Then after a few minutes, Naruto slowly opened his eyes, and stiffly sat up, looked around. And when he saw Aim, he said in a groggy tone like he isn't all there, hey, I will take 10 bowls of the usual, which was followed by a giggle, and a smack from a wooden oar. Then Naruto said while rubbing his head, ouch, Boten, that hurts. Then he hears someone breaking, then said, quick, both of you get out. Aim looks at Naruto, and said, but what about you? After all, we can't just leave you here. Don't worry about me, after all, after being dead for a week I can't move that fast, so I will just slow toward both down, and I am not going to die again anytime soon, Naruto replied. Then when Aim and Boten left, he lays down, and thought, you know what I'm thinking, Rika? Well, considering I am your spirit beast, I am able to hear your thoughts, and I am able to do it, but you would need to set the fire if I am to cast the illusion, Rika replied through the mental link the two now share. But Naruto thought. Then he pretended to still be dead, as the villager came into the room. The villager walked up to the bed, and saw Naruto. Good riddance. Now we can finally avenge the fourth. Now I hope you burn in hell. Then he sets Naruto's bedding on fire, then quickly leaves. Rika quickly comes out from under the bed to see Naruto stiffly putting the flames out, and went over to help. Once the flames was out, she cast an illusion that showed the house was on fire. And when the villagers saw this, the one that was leading them shouted out, we did it. Lads, now we don't have to worry about the demon corrupting anyone. Now let's get out of here. Then they all tried to flee, but unfortunately, or fortunately depending on who you ask, but some of them was captured. Tsunade, Boten, and Aim was depressed, as they watched the house burn for a couple of minutes before the flame went out on it. Own them, Boten asked, did you do that, Tsunade? Tsunade shook her head, and said, no, it wasn't me, and, as far as I know, there isn't that puts out fires. Then she notices something, then said, wait, I don't think that was a real fire. there. Aim looks at Tsunade and said, what makes you think that? After all, you heard what the guy said. I know that, but take a closer look at the house, Tsunade said. And then two girls did and saw that it didn't even have soot. Boten realized something, then quickly runs inside and heads to the room that Naruto was in. When she got there, she sees Naruto sitting up stroking his spirit beast, then asked, did you make the illusion of the house on fire? No, I didn't, as I can do illusions, Naruto replied. Then said Rika did, as the only way for them to get out of here and leave me to get the stiffness out of my body was to let them think that they had won. I get it now, but what about you fiancés? Naruto Boten asked. We could ask one of the people that I knocked out, Tsunade said. For the next few hours Tsunade had gotten the location where they are keeping Naruto's fiancés and went to rescue them, and now they are at the house that they kept Naruto, kissing him all over and saying they are pleased that he was alive again. Then Tsunade said, Naruto, do you want some motivation to pass the proper genin test? When Naruto nodded, Tsunade continued, well, I was reading the marriage contract and it said that you are to wed the 4 girls the day after you pass the test. Boten looks up to Tsunade and said, you sure that's wise? Tsunade, after all, I told you what Naruto sometimes think. I do. After all, what better way to prove that they love him? Tsunade replied. Hey, Tsunade, we all know that Naruto falls under the craw, so can we add one more person? Kurenai asked. Thinking about it, Tsunade said, I don't see why not. What do you have in mind? Aim came Naruto's fiancés, shocking the girl. Me? But why would you do that? Aim said. Well, you did bring back Naruto, Hana said. Hana's right, even though it would have been us if we wouldn't capture the truth of the matter. Is Naruto is back thanks to you, and on the way back Boten told us that you might love him, as you had a really deep blush at the thought of kissing Naruto, Anko said, and teased the last part. So, what do you say? Plus we all know though our sensei that Uzumaki's are really hard to kill, Yuga said. Thinking about it, Aim said, mind if I think about it? Sure, but you have until tomorrow night, Kurenai said. Thanks, and I better get going, as I am sure that my dad is getting worried about me, and I need to think, Aim said, then left with Tsunade, who offered to take her home. Then everyone went to bed. The next day, with the detective handbooks in hand, Naruto is at the academy before anyone to see what team he is on, with at the back of the room, with Boten sitting next to him, and she asks, so Naruto, what team do you think you will be on? Naruto puts the book down and thinks about what his partner just asked, then replies, I think of 3 things that the old man will do. And what would those be? Boten asked. He would either one of the following: 1. Make a 4-man team with 2 senseis, with 1 or both knowing about my side job, 2. Stick me as a reserve member, or 3. Give me my own sensei that knows about my other job. Naruto answered, knowing what the new detective was on about the blue-haired set. I guess you're right. After all, if it was a normal team and there is a case, then the team wouldn't be able to go on proper missions. Right, Naruto said, then goes back to his book. After about 10 more minutes, the student that passed the first part of this started to enter, and when Kiba walked in and saw Naruto and Boten, he walked up to the duo and says, hey dope, what are you doing here? Naruto looks up from his book and looks at Kiba and says, well dog boy, I did a makeup test that they gave me himself and passed with flying colors. Now pissed of you are bothering me and Boten here. Then he goes back to his book. Kiba turns to Boten and says, well hello, may I ask on who are you and why are you hanging around this loser when you can have an alpha like me, and maybe if you're lucky I can rock your world. Boten looks at Kiba while catching the hidden meaning. He said, well, it's nice to meet you Kiba, I am Boten, and I don't think you can handle me, and as for why I am with Naruto, well, let's just say that we have a partnership. Well then maybe if you cancel it then we can have that partnership, Kiba said. Sorry, but this partnership is with Naruto's clan, and my clan, Boten said, using the cover story that Naruto and his fiancés came up with. From the doorway Sasuke said, what clan did the dope came from? Well, I thought that it would be obvious, as it is my family name just like yours, Team Naruto said. Well then what happened to them then? Sasuke asked. Well, they were wiped out during the 3rd Shinobi War, Naruto answered. Sound like your clan was as pathetic as yours, Sasuke said. Naruto was not pleased by what the emo just said, but instead of getting angry he just smirked and said, well, if my clan was pathetic, then what does that make yours? After all, took 3 major villages to destroy the island of Yuzu, and still took out a 1/3 of its forces, while yours took a few hours, and by 1 person. Sakura and Ino came rushing in, and the former said, hot take that Ino pig, I win. And then she saw Naruto with Boten, and she said, Naruto Baka, what are you doing here? And did you pay this whore to be with you just so you can get a be with me? Well, jive up, that will never happen, and I will tell you why you are a loser that nobody wants. And I am sure the feeling was the same with your parents. Boten, not liking what the pink-haired girl said, and summoned her, or then she batted girl that called her a whore, as well as said that Kushina didn't love him. Then said, if I was you girl I would shut up before you say something that you won't have time to regret, and also for the record, Naruto never liked you. Before anyone could say anything about what just happened, Iruka came and sees then crack in the wall, then asked, okay, what happened? Boten was the quickest by saying, well, Iruka, that girl over there said a few that got me a bit mad, and well, you know the result. Then she nudges Naruto to put the handbook away. So, what did she say? Iruka said, then goes on to ask, and I take it you are Boten, right? That's right, I'm Boten. And as for what she said, well, she called me a whore, and that Naruto parents didn't love him. Boten relied. Well, I don't like it done in my classroom. I get that she needed to be taught a lesson about what to call people and what not to, Iruka said. Then goes on to say, alright, sit down, and I will tell you what team you're on. Thought one of them will be unique, as it will have 2 senseis and 4 genin, and one of the genin will have an assistant. Iruka sensei, what team will be getting the second sensei, and who will be getting the assistant? Ino asked. Whatever team Naruto is on, Iruka replied. Sasuke was not happy that Naruto was getting the assistant, then said, what, I demand that I get the assistant. Well, Sasuke, I can't do anything about it, Iruka said. Sasuke growled a little, then stood up, then went to where Naruto was sitting, and said, dope, I demand you let me have the assistant. Sorry team, but that's not going to happen, as this agreement was made between our 2 clan long before your clan, and it will be a dishonor to both my clan and Boten's if we didn't keep to it, and that is one thing I will not do, and Sully the Uzumaki name, and I am sure it's the same for both, as well, Naruto said. Boten nodded, and said that's right, and even thought my clan is like the Uzumaki clan is practically gone. I will still honor any and all agreements they had made before I was born. Sasuke was about to say something when Iruka said, that is enough, Sasuke, go and sit down. I still have a job to do, which is to tell you what your teams are, so you can continue to try and get your way after I am done. Sasuke reluctantly did as he was told, but not before saying to Naruto and Boten, this isn't over, I will get her as my assistant, and looking at her, she would make a great mother to my children. Not like what Sasuke was implying, Naruto just said, if you think you can just come over here and try and get us to abandon our clan duties, then you have another thing coming, and if you do going to your ass wipes, well, they can't do anything, heck neither Vanda, which is why he did what he did, because of the Uzumaki side of the deal. Shikamaru opens one eye at Asta, what is the deal between your 2 clans? Also, why does Boten feel different somehow? Naruto turned to face the lazy genius and said, sorry Shika, but that is between our clans, and I am sure if you use that head of your more than normal, then you might figure it out. Then he turned back to the teacher and said, you were saying Iruka right now? Then Iruka began to say, and Naruto drones him out until he hears the sensei said, okay, next team will be the team of 4 will be made of Sakura, Haruno, Sasuke, Chiha. Sakura interrupted Iruka by shouting, beat that, Ino pig through love wins. Not sure what to say, Iruka simply said, okay, moving on, and your 3rd full-time teammate will be Sai, as well as Naruto Uzumaki and his assistant Boten, which was followed by a bang due to a head hitting the table, and your senseis will be Kakashi and Anko, and the latter will be taking Naruto away from time to time. Sasuke got up and said, and what will the dope be doing when that happens? I am not sure, but I suspect that it has something to do with the deal between the 2 clans, and Anko Hokage knows about what the deal is, which is why Anko, Naruto, and Boten is not a part of any team, Iruka replied. Then he continues, the teams now, then let's continue. Team 8 is Hinata Hyuga Kiba Inuzuka, and Shino Apuram, and your sensei is Kurenayaki. Team 9 is still in operation. Then Team 10 is Ino Yamanaka Shikamaru Nar, and Choji Akamichi. Ino not liking the team said, what, how came I get the lazy ass, and Fatso, and well, Sakura get to be with my Sasuke? Iruka sweat drops, and said, unfortunately no, I don't know, the team placements are done by the Hokage, and the sensei can only request the genin they want, but the final decision falls to the so what here until your sensei. Then he left. After waiting for about 15 minutes outside the classroom of soon-to-be ninjas was most of the sensei, and Kurenai was getting annoyed by a man with a beard, when she said, enough Asuma, I have told you time and time again, I already told you Asuma, I am not interested in you, I already have someone I like, and all goes well, I plan to marry him within the next week. Back inside the classroom, Naruto was blushing by what Kurenai said. Well then at least tell me who it is, Asuma asked. And what, so you can threaten him? I don't think so, also it was done via contact, so you will need to fight him and beat him, but for it to be a valid fight, you need to do the same, and the last time I checked you don't have a marriage contract to you, Kurenai asked. Said, well then if you know that much, then you know that I can do much if I wanted to, so why not tell me who it is, Asuma said, hoping she didn't know the other way. And, as I said, so you can threaten him? Do you think I am stupid, Asuma? Because I and my friend looked up marriage contract after we formed one, so I also know that the contract can be cancelled if me or my spouse cancel the contract ourselves, so I think I will keep that info to myself for now, Kurenai said. Then she goes into the classroom and said, hello, I am Kurenai. Then teammate with me caused Hinata Kiba and Shino to get up and followed their sensei. After that the rest of the senseis collected their teams, leaving Team 7. After waiting about 3 hours the door finally opened, revealing a man with gravity-defying silver hair, and he was also wearing a mask, and he said, the first impression is you are all boring, meet me on the roof. Then he disappeared. The group of 5 headed to the roof, Sasuke, Sakura, and Sai via the stairs, while Naruto and Boten put the window, Naruto using the fly kite technique, and Boten using her aura. When the duo got to the roof, they were met with a hug from Anko and Kakashi, who was reading the same type of books that Naruto saw the reading when he thought no one was around. After a few minutes, the other teammates came through the door, and upon seeing Naruto, Sasuke said, hey dope, how did you get here before us? Well, team, I know a technique that allows me to fly, and no, I will not teach you how to use it, so don't bother demanding then whine to council like you always do, Naruto said. Knowing what the Uchiha was like, then he turned to Kakashi and said, well, we are all here, so what now? Well, now we are doing to introduce ourselves, Kakashi said. How about you show us how it is done, Sensei, Sakura said. Shrugging a little, Kakashi said, my name is Kakashi Haddock. I have a few like and dislike, got a couple of hobbies that I like to do, and my dream is, well, that remains to be seen. Then he points to Anko and said, your turn, Anko. Name is Anko. My likes are eating dango, hanging around my friends, and special someone, and my work at T&I. I have a few dislike, but my top one is my old sensei. Hobbies are hanging around me friends, and special someone, think up ways, new way to torture someone, and I have 3 dreams. One is to have a family with my special someone, 2 is to kill my old sensei, and I am not telling you about my 3rd one is. Okay, your next, Pinky, Kakashi said, as he points to Sakura. Sakura nods and says, I am Sakura, my like it. Then she giggles, dislike are pig, and Arabaka. Hobbies are looks at Sasuke, but says nothing, and my dream is gains of far of look. Great, just what we need, a fucking fangirl. Naruto and Anko both thought. I wonder what that's about, Boten thought. Okay, you next, Blondie, Kakashi said, not that bothered by what Sakura said. I'm Naruto Uzumaki, my like are my training and gardening, dislike are arrogant people, and morons. My goal is to restore my clan to how it once was. Right, Kakashi said, and thought like I would let you do that, you little demon. Then he points to Sai and said, okay, you're next. My name is Sai, I have no dreams, likes, dislikes, or hobbies, Sai said. Moving on, and last and not least, you, Kakashi says, as he looks at Sasuke. My name is Sasuke Uchiha, I have a few dislikes and fewer like, and my dream, no, my ambition is to kill someone, Sasuke replied. Kakashi looks at Boten and said, well, you can go after all. You will be spending some time with us as Naruto assistant, which I have no idea what that is about. Well, Kakashi, to simply put, my clan works under someone important who has a task force who also act like his bodyguard, and they are to deal with some abrasions, but most of the time there are abrasions. Then the team, so one of Naruto's ancestors, the founder of the Uzumaki clan, came to my boss's ancestor and told him his heritage, and said that, as long as they leave him and his family alone, then his family will help out with the abrasions, and he agreed too on the condition that he assign handlers to the Uzumaki that will help out, and should the Uzumaki start to hurt innocent people for no reason, then they are killed, and with a firm handshake and very special contract that is linked to the very power that both parties hold, and should either one break it, then the contract will take their power, Boten explained. So, you meant to us that your clan are a bunch of babysitters, Sasuke said. Boten ignores the remark and says, anyway, let's get back on track. My name is Boten. You don't really need to know what my likes, dislike, hobbies, and dreams are. Right now that the introductions are over, you are free for the day, but be at training ground 7 tomorrow morning at 7 for your Genin test, Kakashi said. But sensei, aren't we already Genin? Sakura asked, and Naruto starts to laugh, causing Sakura to look at him and asks, and what is so funny, Narabaka? Naruto calms down and says, you, Sakura. Then how am I funny? Sakura asked. You're the smartest kunoichi of this year. But did you really think that becoming a ninja was as easy as the test we did last week? Even I knew that there was another part to it. Then what, the academy test, which is to weed out any and all ninja one-ups? Too, there are some that somehow passes to this test, is to show if we have true potential of becoming a ninja of the village, Naruto replied. Before Sakura could say anything, Kakashi said, oh, and one more thing, I suggest you don't have breakfast unless you want to see what you had for breakfast. Then he disappeared, not wanting to stick around, so Naruto along with Boten and Anko snuck away, and Naruto said, as you walk somewhere, you're like, hell, I will do that. Boten looks at Naruto and asks, do what, Naruto? Knowing what Naruto was on about, Anko said he isn't going to do what the Cyclops suggested. Boten, yeah, that would be a smart idea. After all, from what I have read about Saiyans, is that they have large appetite and don't tend to think well if not eaten with is a certain time, though that only affects a small percentage of them, Boten said. Ain't that the truth? And I am one of the unlucky one in that department, Naruto said. Well, look on the bright side, it is my duty as your handler to make sure you are at your best, Boten said. Yeah, even though it is your duty as my handler, I feel like I should do is some of the work, Naruto said. I know you feel that way as you have never relied on anyone before. Well, that has changed now, Boten said. She's even before you became a spirit detective, you had me, Night-chan, Hana-chan, Yugao-chan, and even Aim to lean on, but I guess by the time you did have us, you were used to being on your own, Anko said. You're right, Anko, before you 5 came into my life I had been on my own, that I had to know one to rely on, so I didn't rely on you 5 for that reason, because a small part of me thought that it was a sign of weakness until I died. So now that I have a second change, I plan to rely on the ones that I care about, even though it won't be easy for me, Naruto said. With the type of life you had, I would be surprised. It was now, let's tell the others this development, Anko said, as she grabbed both Naruto and Boten's hand, then all but dragged them to find Naruto other fiancés. Thanks for watching my video. Leave a like if you enjoyed my video, and also do consider subscribing to my channel for more awesome content. See you next time. Till then, sayonara.